Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to DIY with Nadia and welcome to another Wreath Wednesday. Today, I'm making 2 frame wreaths. We're going to have some fun, so let's get started. To get started on this frame burlap wreath, I'm using an old frame. As you can see, it's kind of dinged up. It has been sitting in storage for a while, so it's dusty. So the first thing I'm doing is giving it a good clean. Now I'm just removing all that backing, and I could not stop cleaning this thing and gave it another wipe down, and then of course dried it. Now I'm going to give it 2 coats of the white Rust-Oleum chalk in linen white and let it dry. And now here is the burlap that we're using. Isn't this absolutely stunning? I got it at 50% off at Hobby Lobby, and the frame that I'm using is a Dollar Tree frame, and this is the little one. It comes in a pack of 2, and I'm just using obviously one of them. This is a cream lace burlap ribbon, and it is 15 feet long, and the width of it is 5.5 inches. All you have to do for this is just feed it through the wreath, just like I'm doing, in half, and just keep on folding it in half and feeding it up. This is one of the easiest burlap wreaths you can ever make. It does not get easier than this. You just feed both of them through, and because this is a smaller wreath form, it'll work, and it's so beautiful and it's so simple. Let's talk about the burlap you can use here. As long as it's over 5 inches, you will have a beautiful and full wreath. And obviously, if your burlap is one-sided or does not have print on either side, you can just pull it through. It doesn't matter. But if you're using one like me that either has a print on one side or maybe like mine has a lace on it, I would put that on the inside. So I'm folding that kind of in, because when you fluff it up and kind of like open it up, that little print or the lace is going to peek through, and it's just going to show a little bit of the elegance. And this is another reason why I did not do anything to the frame but keep it white, is because of that lace peeking through. It's just going to balance everything out. And this wreath, this type of wreath, I can use year round in any room, in any style. I mean, obviously, because of the lace, it's, a little bit more elegant. So, but still, you can use it year round. It's absolutely stunning. You gotta try. If you haven't done one of these wreaths, you have to try at least once, because you're gonna do it and you're gonna be like, Nadia, I don't even wanna do any other wreath. This is it. This is it. Because it's so simple. You can make it with your kids or grandkids. This is absolutely one of the simplest and prettiest wreaths you can ever make with burlap. Once you feel your first section is nice and full, you don't have to do anything but just feed the burlap through the next section. Pull it up nice and tight so it kind of tugs right there between the sections, so there's not too much, fluff in the back. And then that's it. I just very carefully pull it up and then continue doing the same thing, folding it in half, pulling it up, and just scrunching it to the side. Here it is, all complete. All I had to do was just fluff it up a little bit, and it's all done. Now I'm grabbing a leftover piece of burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm hot gluing it to the back of the frame. Obviously, use caution here. And then just feeding it through the outer ring of the wreath, going around, and again, hot gluing it in the same spot in the back so it's nice and secure. And that's it. You are done with this wreath. And I'm going to be standing this up. I'm not going to be hanging, but if you're going to hang it, you could either use more burlap ribbon or maybe some jute cord to hang it. And that's it. You're all done. And I think it turned out so beautiful. For today's Wreath Wednesday, I'm collaborating with my sweet friend Kim from KTB Creates, And she does everything from farmhouse to Dollar Tree thrift hauls. She has some beautiful, beautiful ideas. So please visit her channel. I will link it in the description box below. Let her know that I sent you. And if you are coming over from Kim's channel, welcome to DIY with Nadia, where we absolutely love wreaths. Now, on to the second one. For this wreath, I'm using this thrifted frame that's actually still in its packaging pretty much. The inside measurements are 12 by 16 inches, and that frame is an inch all the way around. First thing I'm doing here is just removing all the insides and putting them to the side. To paint my big letter B, I'm mixing together two blue shades to make a teal. I know it looks really, really blue here on camera, but it's more of like a teal blue. And I'm going to give this letter 2 good coats of this blue paint or teal paint. This letter B is 9.5 inches tall, and it is usually $2.99 at Hobby Lobby. I got it at 50% off, so not a bad deal for a big letter like this. Now I'm grabbing the ribbon I'm going to be using. I'm grabbing this blue Easter one, and that is 2.5 inches wide. And then I'm grabbing this burlap polka dot one, and that is 1.5 inches wide. And both of these are from the Dollar Tree. Now I'm just overlapping the 1-inch burlap ribbon on top of my 2.5-inch ribbon. And then I'm going to give it about 1 inch to 2 inches. And then using jute cord, I'm going to tie it to the bottom of the frame. Around the frame, I will be making about 5-inch loops. And all I'm doing is just kind of eyeing 4 to 5 inches and tying it together with a jute cord. And of course, when I tie it with the jute cord, I'm going to cut it off. Just move the knot to the back of my frame, and then moving on, making my second loop, and then just like that, I'm going to go all the way around the frame until I get to the bottom of the frame. Both of the ribbon that I'm using has wired edging, so I did not glue anything in place, but if you feel like you want to make sure that your loops are nice and secure in place, just add a dab of hot glue to the jute cord in the back of the frame. Now that we're at the bottom of the frame, I'm going to make that last loop and just cover that corner and cut off the ribbon. Before we move on to the bow, I wanted to show you that the middle top loop of my frame, I did keep it flat. That way my bow will sit nicely right in the top center. The 2 pieces of ribbon that I had left over, I folded them in half so I know where my center is. Starting with my bigger one or the wider one, that's 2.5 inches. I'm grabbing the center, then measuring 8 inches for each loop and making a simple bow. Moving on to the smaller ribbon, which is 1.5 inches wide, I'm going to be making 7-inch loops. Now I'm just overlapping my smaller bow, which was my burlap bow, over my bigger bow and bringing it together with some jute cord. And I'm just putting the jute cord around both of my bows and then just tightening up in the back, and of course giving it 2 knots so it's nice and secure. Before cutting off the jute cord from the bow, I'm going to tie the bow right around the center top of my frame. If you're going to hang this frame, this is also a good time to just grab another piece of jute cord and tie it right there by the bow in the center so you can hang it. To complete the bow, I'm just cutting all the tails on an angle. To attach my letter B, I will be attaching it to the top of my frame and also to the bottom. At the bottom, I'm just grabbing a tongue depressor. I'm going to cut off the edges, and it obviously depends on the letter that you have, how you're going to attach this. And I just wanted that extra security, so I'm just going to hot glue it to the inside frame and then straight to my letter B. To attach it to the top, I'm just running a piece of jute cord from right behind the center of the bow and then right through the middle of the B and tying it in the back. Now that my B is secured, I looked at it and it felt a little bland, so I just grabbed a little bit of white chalk paint and I'm just dry brushing it back and forth really quickly. Florals, I'll be using this aster bushel. Then I'm going to be using 2 packs of this white flower. I don't even know how to say it. And then in the center, I'm going to use this gorgeous thrifted rose that I got at Goodwill a while back. I'm cutting down my floral bushels about 5 inches in length for all the flowers. Now I'm putting together 2 bouquets. I'm putting some white flowers on top, then those teal flowers in the middle, and then more white flowers at the bottom. Then bring both bouquets using floral wire, and then I'm just facing both of the bouquets towards each other and hot gluing them to the bottom of my wreath and letting it cool. I am using some Gorilla Hot Glue, and for more security you could also use E6000. Now I'm just attaching my beautiful rose and then just added a few more white flowers around the rose. And that's it. Our wreath is done and it is so beautiful.